The Oregon Trail was a legendary route that played a critical role in the expansion of the United States and the settlement of the American Northwest. From the early 1830s to the late 1860s, tens of thousands of settlers embarked on this perilous journey, driven by dreams of fertile lands, new opportunities, and the promise of a better life. Spanning nearly 2,000 miles from Missouri to the fertile valleys of Oregon, the Oregon Trail was a path fraught with danger and hardship, but it became a symbol of the American pioneering spirit and the westward expansion that transformed the nation. The story of the Oregon Trail begins in the early 19th century, when trappers, traders, and missionaries began exploring the vast territories west of the Rocky Mountains. By the 1830s, reports of the fertile land in the Oregon country began to filter back east, painting a picture of rich soil, abundant resources, and a chance for a fresh start. This region, which included present-day Oregon, Washington, and parts of Idaho and Montana, was jointly occupied by the United States and Britain, but American settlers were eager to establish permanent communities. In 1843, the first large wagon train, known as the Great Migration, set out from Independence, Missouri, to Oregon. Led by seasoned frontiersmen like Marcus Whitman, nearly 1,000 pioneers braved the unknown, navigating mountains, rivers, and open plains to reach their destination. This successful journey ignited a migration frenzy, with thousands more following in the years to come. Traveling the Oregon Trail was not for the faint of heart. Settlers faced a treacherous journey that could last anywhere from 4 to 6 months. They traveled in covered wagons, or prairie schooners, loaded with supplies, tools, and provisions necessary for survival. For many, this was a one-way trip. They had sold everything to fund their journey west, leaving behind their old lives in search of new beginnings. The dangers along the Oregon Trail were numerous. Disease was the leading cause of death, with cholera, dysentery, and smallpox claiming the lives of thousands. The lack of clean water, poor sanitation, and the close quarters of wagon trains made illnesses difficult to control. Weather posed another significant threat. Settlers endured harsh thunderstorms, blistering heat on the plains, and early snowstorms in the mountains, which could be deadly for those caught unprepared. The terrain was another formidable challenge. Rivers like the Platte and Snake had to be forded, sometimes with disastrous results. The journey also required climbing the steep Rocky Mountains and navigating the narrow and rugged paths of the Blue Mountains in Oregon. A broken wagon axle, loss of oxen, or an early snowfall could spell disaster for an entire group. Yet, despite the hardships, the hope of land ownership and a better life drove thousands to take the risk. The Oregon Trail was marked by several key landmarks that served as waypoints and morale boosters for weary travelers. Independence Rock in Wyoming became a symbol of progress, as pioneers often carved their names into the rock to mark their passage. Chimney Rock, a towering spire in Nebraska, served as a navigational guide and a sign that travelers were on the right path. The daunting South Pass, a broad and relatively easy crossing of the Rocky Mountains, was a crucial milestone, indicating that the hardest part of the journey was behind them. Finally, the lush green of the Willamette Valley signaled the end of the trail, a fertile land that many had risked everything to reach. The Oregon Trail was not just a route, it was a vehicle for change. The massive influx of settlers significantly impacted the American Northwest, accelerating the region's development and shifting the balance of power in favor of American interests. By the mid-1840s, American settlers outnumbered the British in the Oregon country, leading to the negotiation of the Oregon Treaty in 1846, which established the U.S.-Canada border at the 49th parallel and officially incorporated the Oregon Territory into the United States. The rapid settlement of Oregon helped lay the foundation for the creation of new states, including Oregon, admitted in 1859, Washington, and Idaho. These new communities brought agriculture, trade, and industry to the region, establishing a lasting American presence in the Pacific Northwest. The success of the Oregon Trail also fueled the ideology of manifest destiny, reinforcing the belief that the United States was destined to expand from the Atlantic to the Pacific. As settlers poured into the West, the relationship between pioneers and Native American tribes was complex and varied. Many Native American groups along the trail, such as the Shoshone, Pawnee, and Nez Perce, acted as guides, trading partners, and allies to the settlers, helping them navigate difficult terrain and providing crucial supplies. However, as more settlers encroached on traditional hunting grounds and disrupted established ways of life, tensions grew. Conflicts occasionally erupted, particularly as resources became scarce and competition increased. For many Native American tribes, the mass migration marked the beginning of displacement, broken treaties, and the erosion of their lands and cultures. The Oregon Trail, while a symbol of opportunity for settlers, also represented the encroachment of American expansionism on indigenous peoples' territories. By the late 1860s, the era of the Oregon Trail was coming to an end. The completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869 provided a faster, safer, and more reliable means of reaching the West. The arduous months-long journey by wagon was replaced by a week-long train ride, signaling the end of the Great Wagon Migrations. However, the impact of the Oregon Trail remained, as the communities established by the pioneers became permanent fixtures in the American landscape. The legacy of the Oregon Trail is one of both triumph and tragedy. It stands as a testament to the courage, determination, and resilience of the American pioneers who faced countless hardships to seek a better life. The trail's influence on the settlement of the West, the displacement of Native American tribes, and the growth of the American nation continues to be felt today. The Oregon Trail has become a symbol of the American pioneering spirit, the idea of risking everything to explore the unknown in search of opportunity. It's a story of hope and hardship, of communities built and cultures lost, and a reminder of the complexities of westward expansion. Today, the route is commemorated in history books, museums, and even in the form of a famous educational computer game, capturing the imagination of new generations fascinated by the courage of those who journeyed west.